Hi, my name is Gerald, and I am money drunk. And I'm doing another live session here. It's a little after 10 o'clock, 10:05 Mountain Time on a Wednesday evening. And yeah, I've had a lot of recovery today, a lot of recovery today. Got a chance to speak with my sponsor. I got to chair a meeting, and then I got to speak at another meeting, talk to my sponsees. It's been a lot of recovery, a lot of recovery today, and I love doing that. But I also want to be careful not to be hiding out in recovery as well too, and that means doing the work. And in order for me to be able to do the work, I've got to get out of my own way. That's the title of this live stream. It's about getting out of my own way. Look, there's a lot of things that I need to do in the next few days in order to change my financial picture. But ultimately, the results are left up to a power greater than me. I'm not in the results business. All I need to do is I need to do the footwork. But what footwork do I need to be doing? So today I had a really good conversation with my sponsor. Kind of gave him a state of the state, a sit rep, what's going on with Gerald. And one of the things that he really commends me for is doing all the things that I need to do, having difficult conversations. We were talking about that yesterday in the live stream. The types of difficult conversations that I need to have, difficult conversations with my landlord, difficult conversations with my car finance company, difficult conversations with my former wife. All these things I need to do because my life is unmanageable right now. And there are consequences to the things that not only am I doing, but I'm also leaving undone as well, which leads me back to taking action, to doing the footwork. And today, like I said, I was doing a lot of recovery. I was bringing experience, strength, and hope to a lot of different people. It was pretty amazing, and I got to serve people, and I got to earn, which is always great. And there's so much more that I need to earn between now and then. One of the things that was brought to my attention, one of the suggestions that was made by another fellow and by my sponsor is to create a GoFundMe page. So I did a little bit of research and I dove in and I found out, what does it take to create a GoFundMe page? And it's really pretty simple. A lot of the tools I'm already familiar with. I use Claude AI pretty much every day in order to help me out with a lot of different areas of my life. Um, but and and there's AI built into GoFundMe in order to create a compelling story so that people are more likely to make a donation. But really at the heart of these donations and where it all begins is starting with my friends and family. And for me, the last people I want to let know that I need help, that I'm in a desperate situation and that I can't take care of myself, that I can't pay my bills, that I'm broke. The last people that I want to tell are my friends and family. And for me, it goes back to the deep feelings of shame and guilt that I have around making money, around my finances, the way that I manage my money. Yes, I've gotten a lot better in the recent past, and I'm doing much better with the money that I do have, the money that I have been entrusted with right now. But at the same time, my my basic needs are spiraling out of control because I'm not able to manage my income. I'm not able to get the results that I need from my income. I got a thumbs up there. I didn't even know that someone was watching. So that's fantastic. But I'm going to keep this kind of short, and I'm going to keep this relatively quick here. Going ahead and creating that GoFundMe page, that scares me to death. Again, letting my friends and family know that I'm still in this hole. Letting my friends and family know that I'm still not able to take care of myself. All these months, all these years later, Gerald still hasn't figured it out yet. And no, I have not been able to figure it out. And that's the thing. There is nothing to figure out. There is trusting in the process. It is doing the footwork. It is taking action and trusting in the process. That's all that's required of me, is to have some faith. Now, that doesn't mean that I should spend every last dime that I had on, a course or a get rich quick scheme that's going to make all of my problems go away. That's not what I'm saying at all. And that's not what anybody's suggesting to me at all. But what I do have to do is I'm going to have to do some things that feel really, really uncomfortable for me. All this week, I've been talking about knocking on that door and asking for that sale. And this is exactly what GoFundMe is knocking on the door of my friends and family and asking them, and leaving the results and their response and their reactions up to them. I have no control over that. And while I may hold that fear and shame and guilt inside of me, I can go ahead and do that. And I have to take action. I still have to move my feet. And it doesn't matter how I feel, I still need to take action. Now, listen, maybe GoFundMe is a waste of time. Maybe that's not the thing I should be doing. Yeah, I really don't know. But regardless, I do have to take some sort of action. I do have to keep doing the things that I need to do in order to begin to generate extra income, more income, so that I can pay my bills. So one of the things that I said I was going to do yesterday, and one of the things I said I was going to do today, which I still have not taken action on, I've been busy doing other things. And yeah, I did make some money today. I did earn today. Yes, I got the opportunity to speak at a couple of meetings. I got the opportunity to sit down with one of my sponsees. Yes, I was active in service. But one of the things that I said I was going to do that I haven't done yet is register for Money Management International. This is exactly what I mean about getting out of my own way. It's hiding out in recovery. It's spending time on the things that aren't going to be actual revenue generating activities. So, for example, looking at my YouTube stats. Yeah, I know I don't have any views today. Yeah, I don't have anybody watching right now. Got it. So I don't need to rehash that. I don't need to, obsessively check those stats every hour or anything like that. That is not helpful. That is not moving anything forward. That is wasting time in fear and worry, and is not going to help me generate income today. Maybe if for some reason one of my videos begins to take off and I begin to gain some traction, maybe that will help me with revenue in, the next couple of weeks or the next month or whatever. But what I need to do is I need to come up with solutions that are going to help me right now. That's why GoFundMe is one of those solutions that will help me right now. That's why Money Management International will help me right now. No, Money Management International is not an income producing activity, but it will begin to help me manage some of my creditors and outstanding balances that I have on credit cards and things like that. So it would bring a sense of relief to know that I'm buying some time before I need to begin to pay back these obligations. And I make no mistake, I do want to pay back these obligations. I don't think that I don't owe these people money. I don't think that Chase Bank or Capital One is stealing from me. That's not what I'm saying at all. I owe these obligations. At the same time, I don't have the means to begin to repay them to begin to repay them on a schedule that would be satisfactory to them. I need to stabilize my income. I need to increase my income. I need to pay these immediate bills right now. Take a breath, Gerald. Take a breath. I can't solve all my problems today. I want to solve all my problems today because I don't want to feel this pain today, this pain of continuing to debt, this pain of spending beyond my means. I am so tired of living that way. And it would mean giving up everything. And maybe that's a solution too, is letting go of everything. But to be without my son again, to not be able to participate in his life in a meaningful way. Yes, I understand that I need to put the oxygen mask on myself first. I get that. But at the same time, I still need to earn enough money for a place to live. I still need to earn enough money to pay for a car. I still need to earn enough money to do those things so that I can function in society and begin to raise that floor on my income. I can't continue to self-sabotage and grind my income down to zero. So I only want to do this for a few more minutes here. So I need to take action. I need to do something different. And maybe it'll require doing some things that I don't want to do. Maybe it'll require doing some things that I'm really, really scared of. Maybe it will, take, hey, Gerald, I know you're really tired, but you need to take an hour and you need to register for Money Management International. You need to do that now. Take that action. Do the footwork. And leave the results up to a power greater than myself. Trust in the process. Trust myself to do the right thing. That's what it means to get out of my own way. Trust myself to do the right thing. Believe in myself that I'm not going to self-sabotage. And what I mean by that is react to something in such a way that's going to give me the opposite of the result that I want. So, that can, for me, that can take the form of, overspending. A great example for me is buying extra groceries or something like that, or buying an expensive steak, or buying some prosciutto. I remember telling myself years ago that just because you can spell prosciutto doesn't mean that you need to eat it every day. And I was looking at it at a different, perspective back then, but the principle is still the same today, that I don't need to be spending that extra money on those sorts of things. I need to, and trust me, that is, for me, that is acting out. That is not being responsible with my money. That's not being a good steward of the money that I have. That is purely acting out. And if I can, if I can spend the money that I do have responsibly, if I can begin to come up with more creative ways that I can earn extra money, um, if I can be brave enough to participate in a program that might be able to help me out with my renter's assistance. Having that shift in perspective, that shift in perspective, I have so much to be grateful for. I have my son. I have family around me. I have these new jobs that I'm so grateful for. Being able to do something that I love to do and be able to help people in a meaningful way that's meaningful to me, that gives me purpose and lets me use my gifts. Those are the sorts of things that I'm so grateful for. So, coming from that place of gratitude and taking that next step, whatever it may be, coming from that place of gratitude and acting, not reacting, not acting out, but taking deliberate action, taking intentional action. I know that sometimes these words can sound a little woo woo, and they can sound um, like I'm trying to manifest, and I'm not putting down manifesting. I'm not trying to say that. But what I am saying is that at this moment in my life, I need to take concrete actions forward. Can't get attached to the results of those actions. Again, I just need to trust in the process, keep doing the footwork. So I've talked on and on about this long enough. And I hope that this helps somebody else out. I hope someone else sees how, um, by looking at the way that I'm getting in my own way, maybe it's easier for you to see that in me. And maybe that will give you some ideas on where you may be getting in your own way, what that actually means for you, because it probably means something slightly different for you. And if you're watching this channel, and if you've gotten this far, then you know that there's something that you need to change, not something outside there. You don't need to change something out there. It's in here. It's in here. Changing my perception, changing the way that I think so that I can have a different response, so that I can take a different action, so that maybe possibly in the not too distant future, I can have a different result. So, like I said, I hope that this is helpful to you. If you'd like to talk about this further, if you want to have a further conversation about this, check out the link in the description. Schedule your free call with me, and let's continue to talk about this money psychology and this financial anxiety and the money blocks that stop us from reaching our full potential, the money blocks that stop us from doing the things that we would actually love to do and being able to give our gifts, being able to change our relationship with money. And I hope you'll join me on this journey as I continue to get money sober. Thanks a lot. And thank you for the like. And yeah, we'll talk soon. See you tomorrow.